Thank you. Protesters out once again in Rochester, calling for a host of changes within the Rochester Police Department and the resignation of Mayor Lovely Warren. All this following the police-involved death of Daniel Prude in March, a death Mayor Warren has said she did not fully know about until months later. I pressed her on that point in an interview today. You said at the beginning of all this, right when it broke earlier this month, at no time prior to August 4th did Chief Singletary or anyone make me aware or show me a video of the actions of the RPD officers involved in Mr. Prude's death. Chief Singletary said on April 10th in his letter to Justin Roy that you were in the loop and he was waiting for a call back from you regarding the Emmys report. You said yesterday that you received a text from Chief Singletary on that day, Good Friday, I think you called it. Do you remember what that text said?
It talked about PCP, and to be honest, Adam, this is not about what was said, this is about what wasn't said. This was characterized from the very beginning as a person that was in a mental health distress on PCP and had an overdose and in custody death. And up until I saw the video, that is the way that it was characterized. And if you look at all of the information, it clearly shows that from the beginning of this was to be characterized and downplayed as a PCP overdose. It wasn't until I had an opportunity to see the video, and it's all about what I did not know. But I can assure you, had I known, I would have acted the way I've acted in the past, and that is with decisiveness. When the situation happened with Christopher Pate, and I had all of the information, those officers were suspended, those officers were charged, those officers ultimately, because of the process that we went through, no longer are on our force. And I can assure you, had I known what I know now, with all of the documentation that has been provided, this situation, tragic situation, would have been handled very differently.
Were you able to talk to him after that text message? And I asked because I was wondering if he alerted you to the autopsy report that called this a homicide.
Supposedly, somebody told me that he allegedly told me in an elevator. This is not something you tell the mayor, the leader of the city, in an elevator.
So you don't remember him or anyone else saying the word homicide to you before August 4th?
I can assure you, Adam, this whole situation, I was not given the correct information.
Going to the points you were just making, you take the lieutenant going to the medical examiner a few hours before the autopsy saying, can we have a private conversation? This is a sensitive matter. You take members of the RPD team and some city attorneys, according to the paperwork released recently, appearing to try to delay or deny the release of video. You have Chief Singletary using words like resisting arrest as a cause of death as opposed to asphyxia, which was noted in the autopsy report. And then your version of the story, no one kept you abreast of the full details of the case leading up to August 4th. And you said yesterday that when you look at all of this, your exact words were, this looks like an effort by many people to shield information from the public and the family. Is that another way of saying that this was a cover-up?
That is up to you and the public to decide. I can only allow the evidence to speak for itself. To me, what happened here was absolutely appalling, and it was wrong. And I am committed to making sure that what happened here doesn't happen to another citizen.
On the note of the body camera footage, because I covered it, you helped bring it here. You were one of the main promoters of it. And you've said, in this particular case, you've seen up close what shielding of evidence looks like, and therefore you should stay on as mayor. Because you have this relationship with this case and the police department, at the same time, at what point, or is there a point where you say, you know what, the trust gap is too wide between me and the public, between me and city council, where I can't be an effective mayor? Is there a point that you're looking at or that's out there at this point?
Having been born and raised in a city, educated in a city, returned to the city, and all the work that we have done, not only in the police department, but in repairing our neighborhoods and working to make sure that our children receive a quality education, making sure that our seniors are being fed during this pandemic that we are in, making sure that we have the investments in neighborhoods that haven't had investments in 40, 50 years. There's more work to be done, and I'm committed to doing the work. I'm committed to making sure that we get this right. And from the very beginning of being mayor, my focus has been on changing how we govern as it pertains to the police department. Even way before this, when I was on city council, really looking at diversity in the police department and going out and actively recruiting many men and women of service. But I recognize that diversity alone is not enough. We have much more work to be done, and I'm committed to doing that work.
The initial internal investigation found that the officers did not engage in any misconduct. You have the Locust Club president saying that they followed protocol. They have not been charged yet. Do you think that there are some folks out there who are rushing to judgment in this case?
I think that the body-worn camera video speaks for itself. And when I and members of the public look at that body-worn camera video, and anyone that has seen that body-worn camera video and think that that's okay, that our actions were okay there, I think that they're wrong. And had I had all the facts prior to, have been brought up to speed as everybody else along this path has been, you know, even in June, when a lieutenant, a captain, a deputy chief says, the mayor needs to see this, the mayor needs to know this, it goes to the corporation council. I receive hundreds of emails from the chief. Never was the Emmy report given or the body-worn camera video given, because I can assure you that he probably knew, because of the way I've handled cases in the past. Had I seen that video, this would have been handled completely different.
Going off that point, you've expressed your frustration over not seeing the video before August 4th. When you saw it at the beginning of the month, how come you didn't run over to the race commission, run over to city council and say, look, I didn't have the benefit of seeing this video, you need to see this immediately?
So, as I said, you know, before, there are many things looking back that I would do differently. And part of this is listening to our legal counsel instead of, you know, my legal side. You know, I've been sued 4 times for bringing out information to the public, for sharing information to the public. And, you know, when the legal counsel said this was a criminal investigation that was in front of the AG's office and gave me the advice, I listened to that. However, I didn't do anything. I did not do anything, I should say. I did something. I sent the chief an email where I explicitly talked about my frustration with the video, the fact that I had been misinformed, the fact that I expect to be informed whenever there is use of force within 48 hours and to also see the video. Within 48 hours of seeing that video, I also contacted the council president, and I was awaiting for the AG's report to come out and for them to decide whether they were going to do criminal investigation. On top of that, in that email, I implored the chief to start internal review of this case because I did not believe that waiting was the right thing to do. So I didn't just see the video and walk away. I saw the video and I took decisive action, the action that I believed that I could take. Now what I didn't do, which I apologize for, is making sure that the public and others were informed about the video.
Which was somewhat similar to what you've been frustrated with your own team.
Absolutely.
What do you think that says about the system that's been set up over the last 7 years as part of your administration, that this could happen?
The system has been broken longer than 7 years. We've been working very, very hard to undo the system that has always had a system for black people and a system for white people. We've been working very hard to undo that. And I thought that by diversifying the police department, that would make it better. But what I know now is that this situation is pervasive. More needs to be done. And we have to take a deep dive. We have to make sure that we are not seeing these cases through the lens of the badge, but through the lens of the people that we serve. That is what I have always done. And if you look back at my track record and the things that I have stood for, remember, we wouldn't know what happened to Daniel Prude had it not been for me, Lovely Warren, insisting that we bring body-worn cameras to this city and putting it on our cops against what the union wanted.
So we are going to have the full version of that interview with Mayor Warren, along with details about the protests, on our website, rochesterfirst.com. We're going to have more news and weather after the break.